Alrighty guys, so this is the new project I'm working on. It's a first gen Speed 3. It's got a big 3071R turbo on it. It's got a bunch of upgrades, but problem is when we don't know, I don't know what the problem is. I was told that timing might have slipped, so I'm gonna go ahead and check everything out. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna check timing first, try to see if everything lines up. If it does line up, then I'm gonna check compression and then go from there. It does have a bunch of upgrades, as you can see. It's got a tune and everything. So we'll see how it goes. I might also switch this also to 2.5, see how that runs on this big turbo. Okay, so first thing I did, of course, put it on the jack stand. Okay, took out the top, the coils are good to go. The fuel lines are disconnected. Took the battery out, the battery tray, and now we're gonna take off the pipe and we're gonna check if everything's lined up. Alrighty guys, so I do have the engine on TDC. I put the pin on the back of the motor. Oh god, this thing's a mess down here. So the pin's already in place. I did turn the crank all the way into position. Those marks were already there. It might be that whoever set this on time, the angle sensor is not in place. See that? So everything's in TDC on the motor, but this right here, I'm not sure if it's loose. Nope. It might be out of place. So we count, like we said in the other videos, a 20th tooth, and then bring it all the way down, and we gotta line that up with that mark on that sensor. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. All right, so I loosened it up, put in the 20th tooth there. So it looks like this guy stripped this timing cover, the bolts on there that hold the sensor together, which is this one. That mark in the middle, this mark right here, if you guys don't know, hold on. This one right here has to be lined up with the 20th tooth. I just put it on time right now. What I'm thinking happened is since that guy stripped the threads in there, this sensor moved on him and the car shut off on him. So we're gonna put everything back on top, the intake, everything, mass airflow, fuel pump hoses, all that, and then we're gonna try to crank it, see what happens. Alrighty guys, so as you guys can see, I didn't record a lot of stuff, but I found a motor had low compression in 2 cylinders. Okay, so my guess probably be maybe valves had contact with the pistons. So I went ahead and took out the engine already from the car. This is what it has. It's got aftermarket exhaust, manifold. It's got the 3071R. Has all that. I already have a block 2.5 waiting. I'm gonna go ahead and swap that over. I'm gonna check out the head, which probably the valves are messed up. So I'm gonna go ahead and take all this apart and then get to the problem, and then I'm gonna go ahead and swap it in. Like I said, I'll probably do like another 2.5 in it just to see how it is. It's already been tuned with a 2.3, but might have to, you know, submit a couple of logs for the updated tune. I'm gonna keep it stock fuel, so probably hit like around 380, around there 400. Okay, so I'll keep you guys updated. So this is it right here. It looks okay, it looks good. Okay, so I already loosened up a couple of bolts. So I'm gonna take this big old thing off and then start taking everything apart, see what I find. Good. Alright guys, so I got the turbo out. If you're wondering what they look like side by side, this is stock, of course. This is the one we're gonna be doing in this swap. It's a 3071R. Okay, so you see the big old difference. Okay, we blew this one out. Whoever had it before blew this coupler, so I'm gonna have to replace that. That's what it looks like. I'm gonna be putting everything back how it was. See what this 2.5 can do. Okay, this is more one of those just for the heck of it swaps, I guess you want to call it. Okay, but that's what I'm gonna show you guys. I'm gonna go ahead and keep going on the engine. It's mostly out already. Well, everything is off. As you can't see, this thing was a mess. Hope you guys can see that right here. Oil everywhere. We're gonna clean up everything. see what plugs we have in there. And yeah, okay, I'll keep you guys posted. Alrighty guys, so got the head out, and just like I said, got a bunch of bent valves. You see that one there, that one, so it's cylinder 1 and 4. No, I mean, I'm sorry, 2 and 4, the biggest ones, but some other ones look like a little bit bent also, like they're not sitting properly all the way. Anyway, so I do have another spare head that's all good, and I'll probably be transferring everything all over to the other one. This thing's a mess, as you guys can see. This exhaust manifold, I'll probably use it also just to keep everything together. And the reason is because I already have that tune on there with all these parts, and I'll just transfer the oil catch can, all that was attached to it, clean up everything, make it look way better than it was. As you can see, this is a mess. See where it hit. Okay, the block itself, the walls, too shiny for my likings, I guess. So you guys can see it. See, the cross hatches are almost gone. Anyway, so it was time for a rebuild. I'm not sure if I'm gonna put new piston rings on this one and just sell it, or just sell the block and crank. Should be still good. Now is off to transferring everything over to the new block. Okay, and then I'm gonna transfer all the intake manifold, all that good stuff to the other head. Alrighty guys, so I did skip quite a few things, but I have the head on now, head gasket on, it's OEM, and then I'm using these bolts from the EcoBoost Mustang. The bolts, these were way cheaper than the OEM Mazdaspeed ones, and they still get the job done. Okay, these are also T55s. Okay, so just like I said in the other videos, start from the middle and then go out. Okay, dip them in oil first, just a tip, and put them in there, and then go ahead and torque them to spec. But on these head bolts, you torque them down to 41, and then you do the whole 90-90. Same sequence and all, but it's a little bit more on torque. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. Same sequence as always. Probably will put something on the description showing you the sequence and torque spec for the head. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and get to that now. Alrighty guys, so head is on, head bolts are torqued. Now I'm gonna go ahead and just start with the timing process. Gears are on, camshafts are on or whatever. I did put, so this is gonna be a 2.3 timing components. So there's a friction washer in the back, one in the middle of this one right here, okay, and then there's one right here. All right, and so this is what I use. Okay, so now I'm gonna put the chain, the guides, okay, the guides, and then the tensioner that goes in here, and then do all that, and I'll show you guys what I do again. But this, don't forget, it has to be hitting on there. I know I have that one on there, so I'm gonna go ahead and put the bolt right on, and then turn the crankshaft over until it hits right here. Alrighty guys, so there it is right there, right here, hitting perfectly on there. Okay, with that tool on there. So now I'm going to go ahead and install the chain. Okay, make sure you do not put your caps on yet, just in case you mess up. Alrighty, so chain is on. With that gear like that, it's all loose. Now's a good time to put the plate in the back. Okay, and now I'm gonna put the guides on there. Okay, try to squeeze them in there. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. Alrighty guys, so timing chain is on all the way. Tension feels good on top right here. I already tightened up the caps. Okay, the timing plate or whatever you want to call it, still on there. Okay, the pin is on here still in time. I just put the new washers on there, release tension on this already, so everything is pretty snug there. Tying these up, of course, don't forget this one right here. Okay, everything seems good. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and put the timing cover on, and then the crank pulley. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. Alrighty guys, so I have the cover on. All the bolts have been tied down all around. I did put the water pump pulley on there, the tensioner, this one right here, and also put the crankshaft sensor here in place. I did measure. Remember, you always have to count 20 from this big gap. So you go 20 all the way down. It's pretty much right in the middle. Okay, you might want to put, I don't know, some paint on it or something. Put that pin in there. When you screw this one on there, guys, don't screw it too much. I've seen people screw it too much and it goes through the valve cover, which is a mess. I've seen it plenty of times. Just screw it on there until it stops by hand, of course, and then that's it. Okay, it might move a little bit. Everything's still in place. I put all the bolts on, okay, all the way down. Don't forget these two right here, this one and this one behind this one right here. Okay, I've seen a lot of people forget those, and then they have a bunch of oil coming out and they wonder what's going on. Okay, but just this is what I do. I use this gun right here. It's a high torque. I don't put it all the way up. Kind of have to know your guns, guys. But this is what I do. Okay, so everything's in place. Pin is back in place. Okay, and I just give it just a quick. See how it hits right there? Just give it a good quick, just like that. All right. And what that does, it just squeezes everything in place. It is not torqued yet. Okay. Alrighty, guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and torque this down. I do it to 75 and then a 90 after that degree. The way I do it, guys, in case you guys are wondering or might need some help, to help the crankshaft from spinning, you go back here and you put a couple of flywheel bolts, okay, and just tie them all the way down. Put a couple of them. It's not gonna hurt anything. I've done it a ton of times. Okay, all the way down until you hit it. Make sure it's kind of snug in there. Okay, not so loose. And then take all your stuff out, your pin. You take your plate out of the way. Don't forget this bolt right here. Okay, but once you have the couple of flywheel bolts on the back and the crankshaft, this pretty much doesn't move at all anyway. Just to be safe, take everything off. It goes right on 75 foot-pounds. Okay, so now just do the good old thing. You pretty much mark this one, let's say this right here, and about 90 right there. Okay, so you grab a breaker bar, you turn this all the way around. Of course, you can get a gauge, an actual gauge. You put it over and it'll show you exactly, but I mean, I've done this just like this plenty of times. Okay, so that's kind of 90 degrees, if you can see. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. Alrighty, guys, so there it is. It's right in the money. Okay, take out the bolt on the back. Okay, and spin everything a couple of times and make sure everything's in time. All the way out if you can, as far as back. Actually, let's take this one off. There we go. So that one's out. That one's old anyway. We're not gonna use that. Okay, so now you come around with your 21 millimeter. So you check this right here. All right, so now I'm gonna go ahead and put the plate back on the back, and then the pin. So let's do this. So we're gonna back up a little bit. Okay. Grab your pin, your timing pin, put it in there, screw it all the way in. Alrighty guys, sorry for all that. My phone keeps cutting off. So I turned this over about 5 times, line it back up, and I put the plate back here. Okay, so it's still in there, slides in there, lobes are in, these two, the pin on the back, let's see, put it in there. It's all perfectly lined up. The only thing you might notice sometimes is this right here, it moves a little bit, but that's perfectly normal. I mean, just to adjust it, make sure it's on the 20th tooth, right in the middle. If you're looking at it from the front, right there. Okay, and I mean that's perfectly normal. Don't worry about that one. As long as everything else matches up and lines up, you should be fine. See, that's still in there perfectly. Okay, so next part, I'm gonna go ahead and seal it from the bottom. I'm gonna go ahead and put the oil pan on. So I'm gonna flip this over, this whole engine over, upside down, and then I'll start putting the oil pan on. See where I have to drill and all that. This is gonna be new, a little bit new to me. We are using an aftermarket exhaust manifold. Okay, and turbo we're using is a 3071R. I know it's got a bigger fitting than the one we usually do, so that should be no problem. So I'm gonna go ahead and start putting things together. I might just put on the intake manifold while I'm on it. Make sure before you put an intake manifold on, you have this harness right here on for the injectors. Okay, and the hose here, the cooling line, whatever it is. Make sure all that's lined up. Plug this one in already, just in there, just to have it in place. I'm gonna go ahead and work on. Well, next I'm gonna go ahead and put the probably intake manifold because it's already there. It's already good to go. And then I'll go ahead and get started on the exhaust manifold. I'll show you what I'm working with now or after this, okay? Alrighty guys, so here's what I have. Lately, I put everything together. You've already seen plenty of videos how to do it. Put the clutch in, everything, transmissions on. Here's a line I did for this one. My first big turbo build with this that I had to build a line for or make a line for. I know I could have done better, but I'm just trying to finish it up right now. Okay, so I'm gonna see if there's any leaks. As far as feed on this one, I'm waiting for my steel braided line. Okay, this is what I'm gonna have it as, just like this, and then run around. And then it's gonna have this right here. It'll kind of hook up just like that. So that's what I have planned for this one. I put a 2nd gen valve cover on there. Vehicle came with 2 catch cans. That one and this another one that goes to the valve cover. So I'm gonna go ahead and probably use those anyway. I mean, I doubt it needs it now. That's probably because the rings were worn and it was probably burning a bunch of oil and stuff. So now it's time to move it onto the car or mount it to the car and just try to put as many wires back together. Okay, so this is what it looks like. I know I didn't film how to, put it back together. There's plenty of videos that I've done before. See how this thing works. See how it spools and all that with a 2.5. Okay, so next I'm gonna go ahead, like I said, put it back in the car, and then we'll go ahead and start it up, and then go take it for a drive, I am planning to take this one to the dyno, just curious what it'll make. Same tune, same everything, and then I'll probably get like a updated tune. I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing onto the car now because it's a pain in the behind. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that now, guys. Okay. Alrighty, guys. So finally got the engine in, the motor, whatever, into the car. It's already mounted. Everything's bolted up in place. I put most of the wiring on, so it's probably good to crank already to start to make sure everything's running smoothly before I put everything back on completely. Looks like a mess right now, but I'll clean everything up. Let's see, finally got the. So this is my oil feed on this one. You kind of see it right there. Same idea. I use a different fitting this time, a little more secure. Ran the line this way. And the same old story right here. Okay, just like that. Barely hitting that slave cylinder, but it should clear it. It should be okay. I did leave that oil catch can. Clutch, everything feels good. I was pushing it earlier, and everything looks pretty good so far. Put out the axles on, the sides. I already put training fluid, and then I'm gonna be using this oil, of course. Okay, I do want to paint the valve cover though, because it looks kind of ugly now. It's all beat up. Make it look a little nicer here. I did clean the engine bay a bit. Hope you guys can see it. But everything looks better now. So I'm gonna go ahead and put some oil in there. Put the battery tray on. It does have a small battery tray for the routing of the intercooler piping. And I need to put all the hoses back on for the boost control. Anyway, so I'll go ahead and do that now. Okay, and I'll be back with you guys.